access to higher education be accessible to all in your constituencies. And because of that, this body which has been dealing with this particular matter needs to be examined so that we can make decisions from an informed point of view. I have a minority report arising from my dissent from the majority on grounds that they want this body maintained. And I think government is right on rationalization, and we must rationalize this body.
Yes.
And my grounds are that the expenditure on this body is very wasteful. We are spending money on the NSSF taxes.
They call it a negatory expenditure.
Yeah, so we are paying allowances for the board, which money we could have used to actually pay people in your constituencies. And you must be very careful when you are about to make that decision. Because if some of your poor people will go without higher education, we must be able to know that you are behind it. So there's wasteful expenditure you should be able to deal with.
Honorable Lee, continue.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, secondly.
It's reading in the report.
Yeah, so there has not been equity in the way this scheme operates. If I ask...
Honorable Lee, the current law brought a report to this house, and he was quoting 4 or 5 people coming from Bukedea, whose names were from another region. There is no equity, because those people did not benefit from Bukedea.
So, Madam Speaker, thank you for that useful information. So today is an opportunity for us to balance the boat. If we can quote Honorable Cecilia, let Cecilia Oguzu.
Thank you.
Must be able to balance the boat and ensure this money actually serves people in our areas. If we are to produce scientists, some scientists must not only come from Kampala or from a particular region. Scientists must emerge from across the country. Only then can we have a balanced development. So to align this scheme,
I told him to summarize.
A lot of exactly.
No, I told him to summarize.
I'm making a summary so that you can understand. You put the main points. So on the basis of equity and affirmative action, which is enshrined in our constitution, we must be able to make this scheme work for our country, and that requires nationalized. Madam Speaker, lastly, because I need to bring out the
Honorable member, stop saying the man is a machinery.
Madam Speaker, the scheme as run by the board now enfranchises a number of communities without access to electricity and internet connectivity, because the board requires that you apply online and they have their systems and the many.
Honorable members, this scheme you must apply online, and it's very correct.
Exactly. So the infrastructure to achieve all this is largely missing in many parts where we come from, and because of that, we are missing out on benefiting. We are missing out on benefiting from the scheme under the current arrangement. So, Madam Speaker, I therefore propose. I propose that there must be rationalization.
Yes.
To the resources which have been under the management of this board must be channeled to the district quota system, where all of us will benefit. Only then will you guarantee benefit for your children if you buy into my proposal. Madam Speaker, under the current system, under the current district quota system, it is the local governments that identify and select the beneficiaries. And working with the ministry, I'm very sure we would be able to.
Honorable members, order in the house. Honorable members, can we have some order? Can we have order?
So my proposal is that we must charge local governments working with the ministries to identify beneficiaries. And the local governments are already doing this in managing a number of programs for government. We have the Women Entrepreneurs Fund, the Youth Livelihood. They have been involved in recovery, so they have an experience. At least that will guarantee that we all benefit from this scheme. And that is a matter, Madam Speaker, which requires attention. I also believe if we adopt my proposal, we will be able to make government visible. For those of you who are in NRM, you want to make your government look like it is working. And because of that, we want to be able to see the children benefiting. I want to know in my village who has benefited from this scheme. And we cannot reserve this body, which is centrally, and even, Madam Speaker, in recovering this loan, a body which is in the center here, how will they go recover money from my village? It is easier for the district people for us to work locally there to recover this money than centralizing a body here for recovery purposes. Therefore, I move the House in view of the liabilities, arrears, which government has not even paid, amounting to 14.6 billion, which points to the fact that we don't have enough money. The money we have must be able to go into achieving objectives of this scheme. And that requires we rationalize this body. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House adopts my minority report and we rationalize the body. Thank you.
Honorable members, it is a procedural matter from Honorable Shaggy. Honorable Shaggy, you can. He's also on procedure. Chair, you go and stand and talk from there.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. We are here in the House deliberating for rationalization, which reasons we already got to avoid duplication, to avoid wastage of resources. Now, when we talk of the scheme, we're already crying. The scheme is supposed to be an equalizer. There are people who are taking their children to very powerful schools, which charge a lot of money. And those ones pass highly and qualify for government sponsorship. Now, those who take children where they charge little fees.
Like Amos College.
Amos College, yes, like Amos College, end up not getting high points to qualify for government sponsorship. Therefore, the rich end up taking to the powerful, very expensive schools where they charge 4 million per term. At the end of the day, they perform highly and go to university under government sponsorship. Now, the poor who take to schools where they pay 300,000, 900,000, much as they are very capable, are not prepared to pass as high as the other ones. Now, at the end of the day, they are the ones who are supposed to go on private sponsorship. And yet the rich have gone on government sponsorship. So you find we are not balancing the board. It would have even been the other way around. So we allocate very little money for the loan scheme. On top of that, most of the money is spent for management administration, authored in a minority report. For having been very, very patriotic. You could have even added there that we even remove the money which is sponsoring some as government sponsorship and add it to the scheme. So that if you are rich, you go and pay fees at university, you have the money. So that one who's poor goes and borrows the money to go to the university. I salute you, the minority. I beg to move. But I conclude by saying, Right Honorable and colleagues, if we can't rationalize this one, then we don't need to rationalize any institution. This should be the first to be rationalized. I beg to move.
It is a procedural matter.
Madam Speaker, I seek for your indulgence. First of all, let me make records clear. Maracha district has 54 students on loan scheme. Secondly, Madam Speaker, when we passed this act as Parliament, the challenges were not on the bill or the act. It is on government's commitment. First of all, the act states that beneficiaries, those who go for these loan schemes, there can be those for arts, subjects, humanities, and sciences. But because the government never had the money, they opted for only scientists. They took them. Secondly, Madam Speaker, when you talk about this loan scheme, we also look at our neighboring countries. Whenever you talk about costs and expenses, it will be the same in the ministry. And I want to seek for indulgence, Madam Speaker. Can the chair of the committee negotiate on behalf of the members who passed the report? It cannot happen. Because we sat as a committee, we have been moving with this issue of the loan scheme up to the time when we sat as a committee and agreed. And indeed, the honor member for the minority report, I'm done invited him to cite in the report. Madam Speaker, I seek for your indulgence, honorable members. The loan scheme, its interests and intentions, we, as a law we passed, was asking all sponsorship of government. Madam Speaker, now I'm on procedure, honorable members. And the speaker has allowed me. Madam Speaker.
Honorable members. Omusomesa, Omukatuleke, all your issues were covered in the report as a member of the committee. Yes, Jonathan.
Right Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Oguzu has ably persuaded me. Now, given the current scheme as it is, it benefits only the children of the rich as opposed to the poor. Because they ask you to apply, you have to apply on net, and then the children who pass very well in the primary schools, they go to the best schools in the country, and then those are the ones who are considered to get this loan. Therefore, the children who are from Arapa in Soroti, who are from Agora in Soroti, very few of them benefit from this scheme. Therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, if we are talking about equity, I would rather request that we give more funding to this scheme and then take it back to the headquarter system so that all the children benefit from wherever they are in the villages. Finally, we want to request the committee that you lay on table here in Parliament the beneficiaries, the children who have benefited from this district by district. You tell me in Soroti district how many have benefited. From Maracha district how many have benefited. Otherwise, the current system only benefits the children of the rich. I am here to support the minority report. Thank you very much.
Francis. Then Rose.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, listening to the proposals by Honorable Oguzu, I realize that his proposal is pro-poor, pro-people, more effective, and more transparent. Because, Right Honorable Speaker, some of us don't even know how this scheme has been operating. People come to you and ask you, we want to be part of this quota. And you look for it, you don't get it. Their own scheme, a member of parliament cannot trace it. You know, it is very difficult to find, especially us who come from local districts. So I want to suggest that we go by this approach because it is more transparent and effective.